Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a chest and tricep day, and we started the day off with the bench press, and I'll talk a little more through here about what I'm doing with the volumes, what I'm doing with everything, but let's just talk about the lifting on the front end of this. So started off with a top set of bench press, did 315. Somehow my camera got a little catawampus there on the tripod, that's okay. So again, came in, set up a power bench. I'm going at the limits of what we're allowed to do for width. And the reason I'm doing that is I want the most chest development possible. So yes, I know I'm almost an illegal wide bench. My arch is actually really small here, but it's still a power bench. But again, I did a good solid triple, all paused, happy with all of it. So again, I just did one real set of bench and everything else was incline and pullovers. So the same thing with the incline bench. I decided to go ahead and go heavy. Let's just do some moderately heavy triples, because everything else is going to be higher at pump work. It's one of those where I was building up and I'd done a set of 10 with 225 not long ago, but I'm like, now let's just keep this a little bit heavy. I want to treat the barbell incline like a primary lift because we are doing power building. And I do have a handful of heavy barbell lifts in here where we are keeping the reps, under 5 or up to about 5 at the most. So what I'm doing with that, again, that's where I'm going to get my strength and density, right? Because everything else is pump, 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 pump. It is all bodybuilding. But I feel like at this point, the incline bench really does need to be king. Incline work needs to be king because of what it does for just the entire upper chest for aesthetics, because I need to continue to improve and look more and more like a bodybuilder. I have a powerlifting background. Now biceps are a priority. They're the one muscle that gets trained twice a week right now. Right? So biceps are getting hit twice a week because they need to come up, not because of genetic structure. I tell people, don't worry about that stuff. Like a lot of other bodybuilding, really good bodybuilding coaches say, quit worrying about that nonsense and build everything. But for my case, it's a case of training history. It's also a case of having torn a bicep before, over 20 years ago. There's things I have to make up for due to lifestyle, to make up for the fact that I did powerlifting for all those years and neglected curls, neglected biceps. So they are absolutely getting their own day, right? Separate. So I have a back and a bicep day, but then I have later in the week, my last training day is of course the biceps, right? Biceps and forearms. But today is all chest and triceps. So what we did, nice heavy triple on the bench, a nice pretty heavy 3x3 on the incline. Then we come in and we get all this pump work, and we did a lot of it. So the pump work was 15 sets. And the reason I only did a small amount of tricep at the end, and I'll discuss that, is because my triceps get worked so hard on the pullovers. So I've got to build that tricep volume up, because I actually have kind of said that. I'll get to the pullovers in a minute. Incline dumbbell though. This is probably one of just the best overall chest builders for aesthetics. Because incline work does work the whole chest. People have this idea that it's only upper. No, it works the lower too. But it puts the emphasis there. But I like with the dumbbells because it's such a finesse movement, right? We have that free range of motion. I can tuck the elbows a certain way, and it's just a little bit easier on all that. Whereas in the barbell can be a big, big, big power exercise still. But I'm doing both, right? So this is what I mean by double down on the incline work. We do a barbell and then we do the dumbbell. Although I'm keeping the barbell heavier. You know what I always say, heavy work followed by pump work. So again, the bench press is in there mainly itself is just to make sure I'm benching, right? I need at least one heavy set of bench every week to make sure I maintain technique, build the bench strength. But really, the incline is going to be more of my focus, right? It's going to be more of my focus. And then, of course, I'm going to go ham on pullovers, which work all of it. And we'll get to that when we get there because that's over half the vlog, is pullovers. So incline dumbbell. A lot of people are kind of like, you're not going, but this is kind of where my natural stretch is. The others are when I kick into position and then I'm down at a different spot. So when I do these and I just try to go as low as I can get that deep stretch, this is where I just get the stretch reflex. And if you guys notice when I do hit failure every now and then on some of these, you'll see it's not really significantly lower. But for me, I get a deep stretch and a stretch reflex there. And keep in mind, some of my ranges of motion due to my lats and everything are shorter than they should be in some cases. So again, I'm literally just going as low as what feels like I can go, right? While still getting a stretch reflex. Because again, notice there that the tuck is much, much more aggressive. So once the elbows come out, It's a completely different setup. So I've had that brought up. Even one of my clients mentioned that, that I seem like I'm touching the shoulders, but look at the position. It's far more tucked, right? And the shoulders are rotated. Whereas in this is the pectorals being stretched, not my shoulder rotated down. So see the same thing when we come back down. That entire angle changes. No, I'm getting a super deep stretch at pump. My pecs are lit up when I'm doing these. Like I feel a deep stretch, a deep burn, but we managed to get sets of 12, so 5 sets of 12 on this. Now this would actually be a pretty solid chest workout at this point because we got 9 total sets, 4 of them real heavy, and then this really good pump work. But what I'm doing at this point, as I've said, I've built my general physical preparedness way up. I went from doing 4 days of training a week, right? I used to do 4 days. I never did more than 4 days for a few years. Because I've done 6 and 7 a long time ago. I've been running 4 days a week for years and years and years now. By doing all this stuff fasted, doing the GPP, everything fasted, I've built my work capacity up to where I did 5 days. Then I kept doing the cardio afterwards. Then I went to 6 days. And then I've realized my work capacity is high, so I'm taking the cardio back out. I don't need all that weight vest walking. I'm going to just come in and use tons of lifting, and it will work. I've explained before that this absolutely works. It works for fat loss. It'll help me get leaner. But the idea here, based on all the research we have, coming in and using it even to just burn through calories, coming through to make sure that everything gets fully worked. As long as I recover, I'm good. So for me, I do everything fasted. I want to be clear, this is fasted. I didn't eat breakfast till after. And even now, as I'm recording this, all I had was a massive protein shake. So what I'm going to do, instead of waiting till way after the cardio to do anything, now I just protein load. Once I finish training, 15 minutes or so after I finish the workout, sit down, and I slammed a 100-gram protein shake. And I'm not worried about running out. I just bought a bunch and then kind of put it on my birthday list for my Amazon wish list, which you guys can see under all my stuff. Someone already bought me some. Someone claimed they bought a second one, but I think they made it up on one of my streams because I don't see any indication that they did. But again, I'll just keep that up, keep protein flowing. Not a problem. I should have plenty of protein. But that's the other thing, right? Let's go ahead and just will protein load immediately post-workout. Well, not immediately, a few minutes. So again, we get that recovery going. Helps us because I do the fasted training and then I'm doing protein overfeeding. And I have a feeling this is going to continue to work. So all this other stuff worked. It's taken, my body composition has improved dramatically. This takes us to the next tier. It's like, right now we can drop a lot of the GPP. And then we go over to just higher volumes of training, all this pump work. So why the pullover? I'm doing the pullover because what's one of the areas I need? Shoulder mobility, right? It's really a weak link for me. This trains it. We're hitting 10 hard sets, right? And I can do sets of 20 with this. Well, the other thing is when I get the high reps on these, I notice I get a really good chest pump. I also have noticed that pullovers hit my triceps. Like when I started going a little heavier on the pullovers a bit or pushing the sets, I started getting serious tricep cramps. And I've come to realize for me, this is a great tricep exercise. Like triceps have not always done well in terms of size on other stuff. But this exercise, it seems to really hammer my triceps. Like they were throbbing, like I'm surprised. It's like, it's supposed to just be a long head, but I feel it in my lateral head too. Like I get a cramp in there sometimes. So, and it's easy on the elbows because I noticed, the last couple of days, I noticed my elbows were feeling a little bit, almost, the elbow tendons were like maybe a little stressed. So this unstresses them. This doesn't put tension on that tendon as much, and then I can come in and do a very modest amount of extensions after, which I did. And I'm picking the ones that are easier on it. So again, I've noticed when I go really hard, even on those laying ones behind the head, it does, if I'm not careful, start to inflame that tendon. Now, it's nothing to be concerned about because it's very mild, but I watch for those things ahead of time so that we don't get overuse problems. We don't get inflammation. So this is a viable solution because it does not do that. Okay? It absolutely does not do that. And that's the beauty of it, right? But the volumes here, I mean, we ended up doing 200 reps with the 55-pound plate. I've never done this much. In fact, this is so much chest volume I'm not used to it. My chest is almost feeling like, what'd you do to me? But the triceps too, right? So this exercise hits both for me. A lot of people feel it's a good lat exercise, and I feel it there too. So it is a pec, it is a tricep, it is a lat exercise. And it, again, even works your core. So this is a phenomenal aesthetics improver. Right? Phenomenal for all this stuff, but it's not hard on recovery. And it's one of these exercises I can come in and do a lot of volume. So if I'm going to come in and chase large amounts of volume, pullovers are great. I mean, I could even throw them in on another day. I almost feel like I could finish a back and bicep day with these also because of the lats. But, you know, I may not do that. I may just keep them here and just keep working lots and lots and lots of them on this chest and tricep day. Because I feel like they potentially improve my bench, definitely improves aesthetics. And again, I would almost say, man, you want to really just build aesthetics with the pressing muscles, incline bench and pullovers. Can do a lot. Can do a lot. And I had been doing a few incline flies. I'm like, I don't even need them with these volumes because this was 19 sets for chest. If we count the heavy triples, which we should count the heavy triples, 19 sets. But we did everything from 3 to 20 reps, right? So we did triples, we did 12s, we did 20s. 3 different rep ranges. But again, these volumes are a lot to deal with. But they felt good. And even though I'm eating carbs again, I'm a little carved up, I'm filling out. I feel like I look decent here, but I feel like I've just got to keep getting leaner. At this point, you know, I know with the loose skin around the waist, if I just lose the body fat, it'll be fine. Because look, now that I'm eating more, the waistline fills back out. I feel like my abdominal wall and everything will fill a lot of that. So again, I just have to lose the fat. I have to lose the fat, right? And by doing that, I'll end up having kind of the waistline that I want. Because again, I can always fill some of that out with muscle. And if I needed to tighten up a little more, I can drop carbs for a few weeks, make it tighter, and then it'll fill back out with, with the muscle of my abdominal wall. We're also doing a lot more ab work and stuff. And I didn't do the hanging leg raises today on here, but I'm doing some ab work and stuff at night, right? And so again, just develop my core. I'm not worried about having the tiny waist either. You know, that's the thing is as I work on getting leaner, doing more of the bodybuilder thing, I want to look like a golden era bodybuilder. I don't have to have that crazy tiny waist guys try to chase. Just get big, get thick, and so what? As long as there's muscle there and I have a big wide back, I'm still going to have a V-taper. So I have to continue to just burn off the love handle area, the area in the front with the loose skin. So recomposition. But what we do does that, guys. So people are like, well, if you're not going to cut, how's that work? Well, you guys have watched me recomp for months and months and getting leaner. I've been recomping pretty much all year, you know, within a weight range. So I feel like, again, doing intermittent fasting, all my training fasted seems to burn through a lot of fat, and then just protein load. So even then, the first few hours, it'll be nothing but ultra high protein after. Again, think about the thermic effect, the potential for fat burning there. Look at the protein overfeeding studies. So again, that's what we're going to do. But yeah, these pullovers, I mean, the burn and the pump was pretty high. Now people will say, well, what about junk volume? Keep in mind, we talk about junk volume, but again, there are even good experts who are strong. I mean, I've seen Greg Knuckles say he actually questions if junk volume is even really a thing. Meaning, are we getting into work that produces such a microscopic amount it may not matter so much? Sure, but is it zero? Or is literally every set we do, as long as we recover, have some potential, even, non-failure sets? We don't have evidence that junk volume is actually truly a thing. Those limited studies I discussed in the past, here's the problem. They've been pulled. So that's creating a problem. Like the researchers who did those studies showing going beyond 10 sets, reduced growth compared to 15 or 20, it didn't survive meta-analysis. It didn't survive peer review. Like the researchers, their lab has they've retracted them. And I know we could argue about the low quality of exercise science for muscle growth, and that's been one of my big complaints, but they've been retracted. So yeah, it was 19 sets for chest then today. But they're all triceps. So when I talk about triceps, it's like, okay, so then we come in and do 3 isolations for triceps. People are like, well, is that enough with this type of volume? Well, for today it is. Why? I couldn't even do my normal sets with it. My triceps were so tired. Normally I can do 15, 16 reps with the weight. I failed after 12. I only got 12 reps on the 3 sets and literally hit failure on all 3 sets of extensions. I hit failure. I could not do a 13th rep on any of them. So my triceps are fatigued. My triceps get lit up on these pullovers. All of my chest work was pressing too. So if all 19 of my chest exercises works triceps, does it count as triceps? I think it does. We could argue presses are half sets. Okay, pullovers, these are a full set for the triceps. Or is the presses a full set for the lateral head? I think they are. Well, if that's the case, see where we're going. I did 9 sets of presses today. And then 3 sets of extensions. Well, that's a good amount of volume. But these pullovers, man, that's 10 total extra sets. I think I could make the case for 22 sets of triceps is what happened. But then we finished with the extensions. And this isn't even a case of, well, your triceps didn't get worked all the way through their fatigue at the end, but they got worked on every single set. All of my chest exercises hit triceps. All of them. I'm also going to do overhead press later this week on shoulder day. So we have that. How about my pull-ups also working the long head potentially? So some extra secondary stress. So I feel like, I do feel like this counts as a legit 20 sets for triceps, to be honest. I feel like I'm really getting there. So we're okay. So biceps are going to get more. But pecs got 19 for chest. I'll call this 22 for triceps, even though only 3 were isolation. This is a lot of volume. A lot of volume. And it felt good. Everything moved well, happy with it. Of course, I'm looking pretty pumped there. You guys can see how I'm looking there. And this is out in the sunlight. Like, this is the worst lighting possible now. The sun is up. I'm walking back towards the door with the camera. Now the lighting is bad. And I'm looking pretty decent there. I just have to get the waistline leaner now too. Right? That's it. Just lose some body fat. I don't even have to lose that much. To be honest, I don't have to lose that much fat to where I think I'm going to have pretty decent abs too coming up. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.